The fifth and sixth set are not building muscle. They're killing it. Most people believe more work means more growth. But once the signal is sent, every extra set is just fatigue. Most lifters never realize when they've crossed that line. How many sets do you really need to build muscle? 1 set, 5 sets, or far more than your body can recover from? Most people fall into one of two traps. They either do too little and never change, or they do too much and slowly burn out. Muscle does not grow from effort alone. It grows from the right signal, delivered in the smallest effective dose. Every set you perform sends a message to your body. That message tells your muscles to adapt or to shut down. When you train, you create microscopic damage in muscle fibers. Your body repairs that damage during recovery. That repair process is what builds muscle. Here is what most people do not know. A controlled study on trained lifters found that after a few hard sets, muscle activation plateaus, but fatigue continues to rise sharply. In other words, growth stops increasing while stress keeps climbing. Here is the mistake most lifters make. Once the signal is strong enough, adding more sets does not multiply growth. It multiplies fatigue. After a certain point, extra volume only taxes your nervous system, your joints, and your ability to recover. That is why more work does not always mean more muscle. Wait. Before you add one more set tomorrow, listen to this. Your body does not reward effort. It responds to signals. And once the signal is clear, anything extra is noise. So what is the minimum effective dose? It is the smallest amount of training that still produces progress. Anything below it does nothing. Anything far above it slows you down. For most people, that dose is much lower than they think. Here is a simple rule you should remember. If a set is taken close to failure, it counts. If it is easy, it barely registers. 1 hard set stimulates growth. 5 hard sets do not stimulate 5 times more growth. They stimulate more fatigue. So how many sets do you actually need? For most natural lifters, 2 to 4 hard sets per muscle group per session are enough to trigger hypertrophy. Not 10. Not 15. 2 to 4 hard sets done properly. Here is how to apply this in your training. First, choose a load or variation that brings you within 1 or 2 reps of failure. Second, perform 2 to 4 clean sets with controlled form. Third, stop. Do not chase the pump, and do not add volume out of anxiety. Stop when the signal is sent. Now let's talk about frequency. Muscle grows during recovery, not during sets. If you train a muscle hard, give it at least 48 hours to recover. That means training each muscle 2 to 3 times per week, not every day. More frequency without recovery is just repeated damage. You do not need more sets to grow. You need more stimulus over time. That means slightly more load, slightly more reps, or slightly better control. 1 small improvement per week beats doubling your volume and stalling. Here is a simple example. If you normally do 3 hard sets, keep the sets the same. Next week, add 1 rep per set. Or slow the tempo. Or improve control. That is progressive overload, not exhaustion. 1 set can build muscle, but only if it is hard and only if it is repeated consistently. Most people fail with low volume because they do not push the set hard enough, or they do not recover properly. Minimum effective dose does not mean minimal effort. It means minimal waste. Muscle growth does not reward suffering. It rewards precision. Find the smallest amount of work that produces progress and repeat it patiently. If you always feel destroyed after training, you are not training optimally. You are overdosing. Train with intention, recover with discipline, and let your body adapt. That is how muscle actually grows. This is Iron Protocol.